What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our player ratings video here on Anfield Agenda after Arne Slot's boys were beaten by 3-2 over in the Netherlands. A result that doesn't really have any impact because Liverpool still finished top of the Champions League format, meaning we have one of four potential opponents coming up in that draw on Friday. I'm going to go through, as I always do, giving the referee, the players, the substitutes and our manager a score out of 10. You'll see two images when we put up the scores. The image in the upper right hand corner will be the Anfield Agenda audience's average score. Ladies and gentlemen were kind enough to submit their player ratings to us in our match reaction video. And the big score you're going to see in the centre, of course, will be my score. Feel free to play along at home. Let us know your thoughts on the game in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video if you enjoy. But most importantly, my friends, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are being brought to you, though, with thanks to our incredible sponsors here on a match day. Manscaped have been with us for a very long time. And why not check out the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra all-in-one men's grooming kit featuring the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 featuring their skin safe technology, a 90-minute battery, and it's waterproof. You'll also get Manscaped's 2 liquid formulations and their free gifts to you, the Shed travel bag and the boxer briefs. Get 20% off and free shipping store-wide with a code Anfield20 or scan the QR code in the bottom corner of the screen. Right, lots to get through, so let's start off with the referee. You know where I'm going to go with this one, don't you? The same as every one of you guys and girls watching. He was awful. He was in no way the reason we didn't win the game, but he was absolutely awful. So, for that, I'm giving him a 3. And the Anfield Agenda audience's score is exactly the same. Now, I should always point out that I don't know the Anfield Agenda audience's score. Connor sets up this video remotely, so it's as big a surprise to me as it is to you guys. But I think we say we have a consensus on the ref being poor. Next up, Caoimhín Kelleher. This was a difficult one because he didn't really do much tonight other than picking the ball out of the net. And I don't feel like he was massively at fault for any of the goals, but certainly the second one, as a goalkeeper, you never like to be beaten at your near post, even if it is a shot rifled in from close range. So the kindest I can be today is say he didn't really do anything too much either way. So I've given him a score today of 5, and the Anfield Agenda audience a little bit higher with an average of 5.3. Next up, Conor Bradley. A bit of a mixed bag from Conor. Loads of energy and enthusiasm, which you'd always expect. Gets up and down that right-hand side. Made some good runs as well. But again, I would want a little bit more defensively, particularly when it comes to blocking crosses coming in. So for that reason, today I'm giving Mr. Conor Bradley a score of 6.5. And the Anfield Agenda audience feels I'm being too generous there. They've gone for a score of 5.8. And look, I'm aware I might be biased there because he is, of course, from the island of Ireland. Jarell Quansah. I thought he had an okay game, apart from the one error that did lead to a goal. And it wasn't solely his fault for the goal, by the way, but he did not clear the ball properly. It fell to a PSV player and then they went and scored. But I'm just concerned about his confidence, and I'm glad that Joe Gomez is coming back from an injury because I don't feel as confident in Quansah as I perhaps did last season. That being said, though, he was okay tonight apart from that mistake. So I've given him a 5.5, and the Anfield Agenda audience have got a little bit lower with an average score of 5.2. This feels very weird, by the way, talking about Andy Robertson as a centre-back, but that's indeed where he was today. I thought he played some very good balls over the top in the first half of the pitch, or excuse me, first half of the game. And I thought he was alright at centre-back. It's very difficult to judge these players tonight, though, because they're in unfamiliar territory, playing with players that probably never play with again in that 11. So, Robbo today, I thought he did okay, but I've given him a score of 6, and the Anfield Agenda audience have gone a bit higher with a 5.6. I do think it's still fair to say, though, we do need to look at that left side longer term, whether it's him or Costas, we do need to look at it. Next up is Costas, and look, he's full of energy. He's got a great delivery. But defensively, I'm always concerned. And tonight was another night where we shipped a load of goals in an unimportant game that really means nothing in the grand scheme of it. But this was more a chance for some of those players on the fringe to stamp their place in the manager's thoughts. And I don't think too many of them, other than one or two, who I'll move on to in a minute, did that. So tonight, I'm going to give Costas a score of 6. And the Anfield Agenda audience have gone for a 5.7. Moving into the centre of the pitch now, and we're talking with Toro Endo. I thought he did okay today. He's a solid pro, and you're always going to get 100% effort. He's a combative midfielder who isn't shy about putting himself about. And okay, again, not overly convincing. I don't think he's going to win hearts and minds more than he already has done. So I've given him a 6.5, and the audience a little bit lower. I think I've been a bit too generous there with a score of 6.2. Let us know at home what you're thinking of Endo's performance. James McConnell. Now this is where we start to get into the positives from today's team selection. I thought young James McConnell was absolutely top notch. He did not look out of place whatsoever out there. Some of his turns and a drop of the shoulder in midfield to get away from his man. Honestly, I thought he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And whatever happens, whether he goes out on loan before the window closes or he's kept around, I think he has a bright future ahead of him. And today I was very impressed with McConnell. So I've given him a score of 8. And the Anfield Agenda audience have gone a little bit lower, but still a good score with a 7. Now we move into Harvey Elliott, who got himself a goal from Federico Chiesa's shot that the goalkeeper saved, and Elliott was on hand to side foot at home, and I thought he looked very bright. I didn't like him being pushed out to the right-hand side later on in the game because I don't think he impacts the game as well unless he's in a central position. But in that first half, I thought he made lots of stuff tick. Lots of energy. Faded away a little bit as the game went on, but then again the second half was a bit of a strange one. So all in, I've given Elliott a score of 7 today, and the Anfield Agenda audience not too far behind with an average of 6.7. Cody Gakpo. It was a beautiful moment to see him get the applause and the adulation of the PSV Eindhoven crowd when he was substituted. He took the penalty and tucked it away very, very well. And it's been a great season for Cody, and he continue on his good goal scoring form, and I think he can be happy enough with his display out there. So I've given him a 7, and the audience have gone a little bit higher with a score of 7.1. Federico Chiesa, he was the Anfield Agenda man of the match, by the way, voted for by you guys, so thank you to everyone that took part in that. It was a very honest, hard-working performance from him, and you could see he really wanted a goal today. Unfortunate that perhaps he couldn't have taken the penalty that he won by getting there ahead of the defender, but he was receiving a little bit of treatment. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to stay on the pitch, but he did, and that's to his eternal credit. So today, he is again one of the players I think that will have given Arne Slot a little nudge to say, you know, I'm still here, I'm still available, and hopefully we see more minutes for him moving forward. So well done to Fede today, and I've given him a score of 8.5. The Anfield Agenda audience, even though you voted a man of the match, have gone a little bit lower with a score of 7.5. Let us know what you guys think in the chat. Were you impressed with Chiesa today? Now we move on to Jayden Danns, and a tinge of disappointment, and that's not really for anything that he did, to be honest. It's just we have such high expectations of this young man, and we want to see him score every time he takes to the pitch. And today I felt like it was maybe one little step too far from at this fledgling part of his career, and he does need to get more minutes, and that's more than likely what this was about. He hasn't had a whole lot of first team football, and whether he goes out on loan before the window shuts, Stoke City, a club pushing hard to sign him, remains to be seen. But today I thought he was okay, but nothing more. So I've given him a 6.5, and the Anfield Agenda audience, lower, they've gone for just a 5.6. Hard taskmasters today. Next up, Tyler Morton, who will be moving on from Liverpool either in a permanent or in a temporary manner before the window shuts. And I thought he did very well when he came on. Good strike with his left foot from distance as well. He's a classy footballer, and there will be a place from a top level football somewhere, whether it's at Liverpool or elsewhere, because he's too good not to. Today though, I thought he did well when he came on, so I've gone for a 7. And you guys seemingly thought he did quite well as well, with an average score of 6.2. Moving on now to Trey Nyoni. I love Trey Nyoni. I do. I think he's a class act, and I think he is undoubtedly a player with a very, very bright future. I'd go as far as to say I was actually just a little bit disappointed that maybe he didn't start this game today. I think he might be coming back from an injury though now. If I'm wrong on that, I apologise. But I thought he looked good when he came on. He's just a classy player, and you can see why we worked so hard to bring him in from Leicester. So I've given Trey Morris a score of 6.5, and the Anfield Agenda audience, hard taskmasters today again with a score of just 5.6. Moving on now to young Nallo, and look, I feel for him, as I'm sure you all do as well. Not exactly the way you would have wanted that night to go, but I don't think he should let his head drop whatsoever. It was about learning about the positioning for me in that moment, and I'm sure that Arne will work with him on it. I felt there was a covering defender personally, and the red card was harsh, but most importantly, I just want young Nallo to know that nobody's going to judge him from this one. It's a learning experience, and that's all it was. We know he's a good defender, and we know he'll have many good days ahead of him, so don't let your head drop on this one. And I've given him a score tonight of 6. The audience, I don't know what to say about that one with a 3.5. You made a mistake, and you learn from it. So we'll move on from there. Don't let your head drop though, young man. Arne Slot, last but by no means least, the manager. Not a great return from tonight back over to the Netherlands, but he will be happy that his team finished top of the league phase. Difficult one to judge this tonight because, of course, he left a load of players at home. So we're judging him off the ones that were there and the performance that we'd seen. And I thought it was okay. Hopefully he's learned something about some of those players tonight, and maybe we see some players get more minutes in the future. And for that, I'm going to give him a score tonight of 6.5. And the Anfield Agenda audience have given an average score of 6.2. So that is it for the player ratings tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just before we finish up, a reminder, we have a very interesting chat up on the channel yesterday. It's a chat with Mo Chatra, who is a chartered accountant and somebody who is very well versed in football finance. So we had a discussion about the club's finances. It's a long one. It's about 50 minutes long. It's up on the channel and on all the podcast platforms. So do have a listen to that if you get a chance. I think you'll find it very interesting. And I will be back tomorrow with the usual stuff, news video, late night agenda, and anything else that happens, we'll make sure to let you know about it. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you again to our sponsors, Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free shipping store-wide with a code Anfield20. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.